All right, so today we're going to dive into some pretty intense material.
Yeah.
Liber Legis.
Oh, yes.
Better known as the Book of the Law.
Right.
This thing is like the cornerstone of Thelema.
Yeah.
And it is just jam-packed with some mind-bending ideas.
It is, it's a book that claims to unveil the entire universe.
Whoa.
And then hands you a roadmap for navigating it.
And to think that it all came through to Aleister Crowley in 1904, dictated by a being calling himself Aiwass.
Indeed.
So are you ready to sort of unpack some of Thelema's core tenets?
Yeah.
Explore this unique view of the cosmos?
Absolutely.
And then see how it all ripples out into modern thought.
Let's unravel this intricate tapestry together.
Perfect. Now, the Book of the Law just jumps right in.
It does.
With these two central figures,
Yeah.
Nuit and Hadit.
Right.
They're not your typical gods, are they?
Not at all.
So how would you describe them?
Well, Nuit is like the ultimate big picture.
Okay.
Infinite space, teeming with endless potential.
Okay.
You know, it's like the canvas upon which all of reality is painted.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the grand scale here.
Right.
But where do I fit into all of this?
Right. That's where Hadit comes in.
Okay.
You, the listener,
Okay.
are Hadit.
Uh-huh.
That single point of awareness, experiencing this mind-boggling vastness.
So I'm like a tiny dot exploring this infinite universe of possibility.
Exactly.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
All right.
The book uses this analogy
Okay.
of two people watching a friend walk between them.
Okay.
Each person sees a slightly different perspective,
Right.
yet they both agree it's the same person.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Right.
So it's like we each experience our own unique reality, but ultimately all those individual realities
Yes.
are part of one unified whole.
That's the core idea.
Okay.
Each of us experiences a universe shaped by our own perceptions and choices. But when you zoom out and consider the sum total of all experiences
Okay.
across all beings,
Yeah.
all those seemingly separate universes
Right.
merge into one.
Okay, so even though our individual experiences feel incredibly real and personal,
Yeah.
they're ultimately like tiny threads woven into this grand cosmic tapestry.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this framework actually tries to bridge the gap between different schools of philosophy,
Oh, wow.
suggesting that they're all just describing facets of the same reality from different angles.
Now here's where the Book of the Law throws in another curveball.
Okay.
It says every man and every woman is a star.
Right.
But we're not talking about twinkling lights in the night sky, are we?
Right. It's a powerful metaphor.
Okay.
Each person is like a star constantly evolving and changing with every experience.
Okay.
Like each interaction, every event adds another layer to who we are,
Okay.
much like a star accumulating matter over time.
So the more we experience, the more our inner star grows and transforms.
Exactly. And this ties back to the idea of expanding consciousness.
Okay.
Just as individual universes ultimately blend together,
Uh-huh.
Thelema suggests that our individual consciousness
Right.
can expand to encompass the experiences of others.
So it's not just about accumulating personal experiences,
Yeah.
but also about connecting with and understanding the experiences of those around us.
That's a key takeaway.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that interconnectedness,
Yeah.
that sense of shared experience
Yeah.
that binds us all within this vast, ever-evolving cosmos.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
It's pretty wild
It is.
when you really start digging into it.
Yeah.
Some of the things that this book talks about.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's almost prophetic in some ways.
Yeah, it is.
You look at the things that Crowley was writing about back in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
he was tapping into something
He was ahead of his time for sure.
way ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
It's really remarkable. It is. And we're going to get into some of that
Yes.
as we go through this.
Absolutely. Let's dive into some more of the specifics.
Yeah. So next up, we're going to get into
Yeah.
this famous and often controversial central law of Thelema.
Right? Let's get into it.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
It really is.
This idea that we're all interconnected stars,
Uh-huh.
each shining our own unique light within this vast universe.
But let's shift gears a little bit
Fine.
here
Okay.
and delve into the heart of Thelema.
All right.
Its famous and often controversial central law.
Yes, the infamous, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law."
Yeah.
It's a statement that has sparked endless debate.
For sure.
And let's face it.
Yeah.
A fair amount of misunderstanding.
It definitely sounds a bit dangerous when you first hear it.
Right.
Like it's giving people permission to run wild and do whatever they please.
Yeah, it's easy to see why that interpretation pops up.
Yeah.
But the book isn't advocating for hedonism.
Or a free-for-all.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with your true nature.
Okay.
With your true orbit, as it calls it.
So it's not about chasing every fleeting desire,
right,
but about understanding your core self, your purpose, and acting in a way that feels authentic to who you are.
That's the essence of it.
Okay.
And this is where the concept of will becomes crucial.
Okay.
It's not about following whims, but about consciously choosing actions that contribute to your growth and evolution. It's fascinating how the book even says, there is no law beyond do what thou wilt.
Right.
Meaning any action taken in alignment with your true will is considered lawful within this system.
But how do you even begin to figure out what your true will is?
Right.
It seems like a pretty slippery concept.
It's a question that Thelema grapples with deeply.
Yeah.
It involves introspection, self-awareness, and understanding the patterns of your own life. The book offers guidance, but ultimately it's an individual journey of self-discovery.
Now, right alongside do what thou wilt is another key phrase. Right. Love is the law. Love under will. Where does love fit into this whole picture?
It's essential to understand that love in this context isn't limited to romantic love.
Okay.
It's a much broader concept of connection, union, and understanding.
Okay.
It's the force that draws individuals together and binds them in shared experience.
And the under will part?
Yeah.
What does that signify?
It means that love should be a conscious choice, an act of will rather than a passive emotion.
Okay.
It's about actively choosing to connect with others and the world around you, guided by your true will and understanding.
That's a powerful reframing of love.
It is.
It's not just something that happens to you. It's something you cultivate and express through your choices.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this idea of conscious choice ties into how the Book of the Law views events and duty.
Oh, right.
It suggests that every event, even those that seem negative or challenging, is ultimately lawful and necessary in the grand scheme of things.
So even the tough stuff, the things we might label as bad, are all part of some cosmic plan.
That's the perspective presented.
Okay.
The challenge then becomes choosing the right event at each moment of consciousness.
Right.
Your duty, in this sense, isn't about following external rules.
Yeah.
But about discerning which actions align with your true will within the flow of events.
So even within circumstances that feel beyond our control, there's still an element of choice.
Exactly.
Like we're always choosing our response, our next step.
That's the heart of it.
Okay.
Recognizing that even within limitations, we have the power to choose our actions. And those choices contribute to the unfolding of our own individual universe.
Right.
Which, as we discussed, is ultimately intertwined with everyone else's.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But it's also incredibly empowering.
It is very empowering.
Thelema seems to demand a high level of personal responsibility and self-reflection.
It does.
Yeah.
But in doing so, it offers a powerful framework for understanding your place in the universe and navigating the complexities of life.
I like it. Okay, now we're getting into some really intriguing territory here.
Yeah.
The Book of the Law talks about these vast stretches of time called Aeons.
Yeah.
Each ruled by a different god.
It's a fascinating way to view history.
Yeah.
Almost like chapters in the story of humanity.
Okay.
The book describes how we've moved through the eons of Osiris.
Yeah.
And now, as of 1904, we've entered the Aeon of Horus.
So each Aeon has its own unique flavor, its own set of challenges and opportunities.
Exactly.
What does the Book of the Law say about this age of Horus?
Yeah.
The one we're living in right now?
Well, get this. It claims the age of Horus is a time of radical transformation.
Oh, wow.
It says the old ideas of sin are fading.
Okay.
But it's not all sunshine and roses.
Right.
It warns of this rise in what it calls innocence and irresponsibility. Almost like we're collectively forgetting about consequences.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it gets even wilder, right? It touches on things like changing views on sexuality, even predicting things like bisexuality becoming more common.
Yeah, that's pretty radical for 1904.
Absolutely. The book's predictions might seem a bit off to modern readers.
Right.
But it's fascinating how some of its observations about societal shifts resonate with trends we see today.
So what other characteristics define the age of Horus, according to the Book of the Law?
It points to the emergence of dictatorships and what it calls infantile cults.
Okay.
It even uses examples like communism and fascism.
Wow.
Which were just emerging ideologies back then.
It's almost eerie how some of these predictions seem to foreshadow things we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
The rise of authoritarianism, the obsession with entertainment and distraction.
It certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It does.
It's important to remember the historical context, of course.
Right.
But it's fascinating to explore how these pronouncements, even if we take them metaphorically, might shed light on our current situation.
So how should we understand the Age of Horus as a whole? Is it a time of doom and gloom?
Right.
Or is there hope woven into this new Aeon?
The book frames it as a period of transition,
Okay.
likening humanity to a child growing up.
Okay.
It suggests the future hinges on how we as individuals grow and evolve in accordance with the law of Thelema.
So it's a call to personal responsibility, urging us to step into our power and shape this new age.
Precisely. And this brings us to another crucial point.
Okay.
The tension between individual will and the pressures of society.
Yeah.
The Book of the Law has some pretty strong warnings about the dangers of suppressing individual liberty.
It seems especially relevant today with all the forces trying to shape our thoughts and behaviors.
Absolutely. The book specifically cautions against increasing government control and the rise of ideologies that limit personal freedom.
Right.
It even uses examples from its time.
Okay.
Things like the DORA regulations and the Shops Act in Britain.
Wow.
Which imposed restrictions on various aspects of life.
Interesting.
It sees these as signs of a worrying trend towards suppressing individual expression and autonomy.
So in this Age of Horus, how do we navigate this delicate balance between individual will and the needs of society?
Well, the Book of the Law suggests those who challenge societal norms, often labeled as abnormal, are actually essential for driving progress and adaptation.
Okay.
It argues that these individuals, even though they're often met with resistance, play a vital role in pushing humanity forward.
It's a good reminder that real change often comes from those who dare to question the status quo, even if it means going against the grain.
Absolutely.
But the book also seems to have a sense of urgency about establishing the law of Thelema. Why is that?
It argues that embracing Thelema, with its emphasis on individual will and self-realization, is crucial for preserving liberty and ensuring humanity's future.
Okay.
It sees the suppression of individual will as a path towards stagnation and potential disaster.
So it's a call to action, a call to conscious evolution, urging us to embrace the challenges and opportunities of the Age of Horus and create a future where individual freedom and collective well-being can coexist.
That's a powerful way to put it.
It is.
And it leaves us with a question that each of us needs to grapple with.
Yeah.
What does it truly mean to do what thou wilt? In a world increasingly shaped by external forces.
Does true individual will require us to challenge norms, even risk rejection? Or can we find it within the structures we live in?
That's a lot to ponder.
It certainly is. Thelema doesn't offer easy answers. But it provides a framework for exploring these questions and forging our own path through this complex Age of Horus.
Absolutely.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From Thelema's unique view of the cosmos to its emphasis on individual will and its vision for a new Aeon.
It's like a wild ride.
It is a wild ride. It's a challenging system of thought. But it offers a lot to chew on, especially in our ever-changing world.
It certainly does.
Yeah, hopefully it sparks some introspection. And encourages you to keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep seeking.
And keep seeking your own truth.
Your own truth, exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Book of the Law.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep those minds open and those questions flowing.
Absolutely.